It's a book that says the same thing almost all other books in the world say. Continue, the old man describes people's intangible to choose their own destiny and end up saying that everyone believes the world's greatest lie. What world's greatest lie? The boy asked, completely surprised. It, it is that a certain point in our lives, we lost control of what's happening to us, and our lives become controlled by faith. The world's greatest lie. That never happens to me, the boy said. They always wanted me to be a priest, but I decided to become a shepherd. Excuse me. Much better, said the old man, because you really like to travel. He knew what I was thinking, the boy said to himself. The old man, meanwhile, was lifting through the book without seeming to want return. It's at all. The boy noticed that the man's clothing was strange. He looked like an Arabian, which was not usual in those parts. Africa was only a few hours from Tafira. One, one had only to cross the narrow strait by boat. Arabians often appear in the city, shopping and chanting their strange prayers several times a day. Where are you from? The boy asked. From many places. No one could be from many places, the boy said. I'm a shepherd, and I have been to many places, but I come from one place, only one place, from a city near the ancient castle. That's where I was born. Well, then, we could say that I was born in Somalia. The boy didn't know where Somalia was, but didn't want to ask, fearing that he would appear ignorant. He looked at the people in the plaza for a while. They were coming and going, all of a sudden, seeing them very busy. So what is Somalia like, he asked, trying to get some sort of clue. It's like it always had been, no clue yet, but he knew that Somalia was in Asia. If it were, he would already have heard of it. And what do you do in Somalia? He insisted. What do I do in Somalia? The old man laughed. Well, I'm the king of Somalia. People say strange things of the boy thought. Sometimes it's better to be with the sheep who don't say anything, and better still be alone with one's book. They were incredible stories at the time when you wanted to hear them, but when you're talking to people, they say one thing that are so strange they don't know how to continue the conversation. My name is Makista, said the old man. How many sheep do you have? Enough, the boy said. He could see that the old man wanted to know more about his life. Well then, we've got a problem. I can't help you if you feel like you've got enough sheep. The boy was getting irritated. He was asking for help. The old man, who had asked for a drink of wine, he had started the conversation. Give me my book, the boy said. I have to go and gather my sheep and get going. Give me one-tenth of your sheep. The old man said, I'll tell you how to find the hidden treasure. The boy remembered his dream, and suddenly everything was clear. The old woman didn't charge him anything, but the old man, maybe he was her husband, was going to find a way to get much more money to exchange information about something that didn't even exist. The old man probably a gypsy too. But before the boy could say anything, the old man leaned over, picked up a stick, and began to write in sand of the plaza, something brief reflecting from his chest with such intensity that the boy was monolithized blends with a movement that was too quick for someone his age. The man covered whatever it was with his cape. When his vision returned to normal, the boy was able to read what the old man had written in the sand. There's in the sand of the puzzle, that small city. The boy read the name of his father and his mother and the name of the seminary that he attended. He read the names of the merchant's daughter, which he had even know. He read things that he never told anyone. I'm the king of Somalia, the old man had said, why would a king be talking to a shepherd? The boy asked, awed and embarrassed, for several reasons, but let's say the most important is that you have succeeded in discovering your destiny. The boy didn't know what a person's destiny was. It was what you have already accomplished. Everyone, when they are young, knowing what their destiny is. At the point in their lives, everything is clear and everything is possible. They are not afraid to dream and yearn for everything they would like to see happen to them in their lives. But it's past time. A mystery forces began to convict them that it would be impossible for them to realize their destiny. None of what the old man saying made much sense to the boy, but he wanted to know what the mystery force was. The merchant daughter would be impressed when he told her about that. It forces them to appear to be negative, but actually show you have to realize your destiny. It prepares your spirit, and you will become their one great truth on this planet. Whoever you are, or for whatever it is that you do. When you really want something, it's because that desire or originated in the soul of the universe. It's your mission on Earth, even when all you want to do is travel or marry the daughter of a tax merchant. Yes, or even search for a treasure. The soul of the world is nourished by people's happiness, and also by unhappiness, envy, and jealousy. To realize one's destiny is a person only really abolished. All things are one, and when you want something, the universe can help to achieve it. They were both silent for a time, observing the plaza in the town people. It was old. It was the old man who spoke first. Why do you tend a flock of sheep? Because I like to travel. The old man pointed to a baker stand, his shop window at one corner of the plaza. When he was a child, a man wanted to travel too, but decided first to buy his bakery and put some money aside. When he's an old man, he's going to spend months in Africa. He never realized that people are capable at any time of their lives for doing what they dream of. He could have decided to become a shepherd. The boy said. Well, he thought about that. The old man, but bakers are more important people than a shepherd. Bakers have homes. The shepherd sleeps outside in the open. Parents would rather see their child marry bakers than shepherds. The boy felt the pain in his heart thinking about the merchant's daughter. There are seriously a baker in town. The old man continued, in the long run, what people think about shepherds and bakers become more important for them and their own destinies. The old man lifted the book and failed to read the page. He came to the boy, waited, and then interrupted the old man, just as himself had been interrupted. Why are you telling me all of this? Because you're trying to realize your destiny, and you are at the point where you're about to give up, about to give it all up. And that's when you always appear on the scene, not always in the way, but always appear from one form to another or another. Sometimes I appear in the form of a solution or a form of idea. At the other times, a crucial moment I make easier for things to happen. There are other things I do, but most of the time, people don't realize I've done them. The old man related that the week before he had forced to appear before a miner and had taken the form of stone. The miner had abandoned everything to go mining for Esmeraldas. For 5 years, had been working for certain rivers and had extended hundreds of thousands of stones looking for Esmeralda. The miner was about to give it all up, right at the point when, if he were to examine just one more stone, just one more, he would find his Esmeralda. Since the miner had suffocated everything, he destroyed, the old man decided to become involved. He transferred himself onto stones that rolled up to the miner's feet. The miner, with all the anger and frustration of his 5 fruitless years, picked up the stones and threw them aside. But he had threw it such force it broke the stone and fell upon there, and break the stones was most beautiful Esmeralda in the world. People learn early in their lives what's their reason for being, said the old man with a certain bitterness. Maybe that's why you give up so early too. But that's the way it is. Remained the boy reminded the old man that he said something about hidden treasures. Treasures uncovered in the force of flowing water, and the buried by the same certain, said the old man. If you want to learn about your own treasure, you will have to give me 1/10 of your flock. What about 1/10 of my treasure? The old man looked disappointed. If you don't start out by promising what you don't even have yet, you'll lose your desire to work to get it. The boy told him that he already promised 1/10 of his treasure to the gypsies. The gypsies were expected to get people to do that. Signed, the old man. In case it's good. Did you learn everything in life? It's the price that the warriors of the light trying to teach. The old man returned the book to the boy. Tomorrow at the same time, bring me 10 of the flock, and out your flock, and I will tell you how to hide the treasure. Good afternoon. On his vantage around the corner of the plaza, the boy began against to read his book, but he no longer was able to concentrate. He was tense and upset because he knew the old man was right. He went over to the baker and bought a loaf of bread, thinking about whether or not he should tell the baker what the old man had said about him. Sometimes it's better to leave things as they are, he thought to himself, and decided to say nothing. If he were able to say anything, the baker would spend 3 days thinking about giving it all up, even though he had gotten us to the way things were. The boys could certainly resist causing the kind of anxiety for the baker. So he began to wander throughout the city and found himself at the gate where there was a small building there in a window which people bought tickets to Africa. Africa. And he knew that the Egyptians was in Africa. Can I help you? Asked the man behind the window. Maybe tomorrow, said the boy, moving away. If so, just one of his sheep. He had enough to get another shore to trade. The idea of frightening him, another dreamer. The ticket seller to his assistance, watching the boy walk away. He doesn't have enough money to travel. While standing in the ticket window, the boy had remembered his flock and decided should go back to becoming being a shepherd. 2 years he had learned everything about shepherding. He knew how to shepherd sheep, how to care for pregnant eels, how to protect sheep from wolves. He knew all the fields and pasture, pastures of Abdullah, and he knew what was the fair price for every one of his animals. He decided to return to his friends and stable by the longest route possible. As he walked past the cities and castles, he interrupted his return and climbed the stone ramp that led to the top of the wall. From there, he could see Africa in the distance. Someone had once told him that it was from there the Moors had come to occupy all of Spain. He could never almost he could see almost the entire city from where he sat, including the plaza from where he had talked. The old man. Cause the moment I met the old man, he thought he had come to the town only to find a woman who could interrupt his dream. Neither the woman nor the old man were all impressed by the fact that he was a shepherd. They were solitary individuals who no longer believed in things and didn't understand the shepherd become attached to their sheep. He knew everything about each member of his flock. He knew ones were lame. He knew which ones gave birth 2 months from now and which were the laziest. He knew how to shepherd them. He knew how to slaughter them. If he had even decided to leave them, he would suffer. The wind began to pick up. He knew the wind people called in the Leverest but came on the Moors had come from the Levant of the east of the Mediterranean. The Levant increased in intensity where I am between my flock and my treasure. And the boy thought he had to choose between something he had become more accustomed to and something he wanted to have. There was also the merchant's daughter, but she wasn't as important in his flock because she didn't adopt depend on him. Maybe she didn't even remember him. He was sure that it made no difference to her on which day he appeared for her. Every day was the same, and even each day the same as the next. It's because people fail to realize the good thing that happened to their lives every day. The sun rises. I left my father, my mother, and the town castle behind. They have gotten used to my being away. So have I. The sheep will be used to my not being there too. The boy thought. From where he sat, I could observe the plaza. People continued to come and go from the baker shop. A young couple sat on the beach where he had talked to with one of the old men and kissed the baker, he said himself without complete thought. The lever was still getting strong. He felt force in his face. The wind had brought the Moors, yes, but it had brought the smell of the desert and veiled woman. It had brought with it sweet and the dreams of man who had once left to search for the unknown and for the gold adventure. And the pyramids, the boy felt jealous to the freedom of the wind and saw that he could have the same freedom. There was nothing to hold him back except himself, the sheep murmured the daughter. The fear of the abduction were only steps along the way to his destiny. The next day, the boy met the old man at noon, brought 6 sheep with him. I'm surprised, the boy said. My friend brought all the other sheep. Immediately he said that he had dreamed and began of the beginning of a shepherd, and that it was only good. Amen. That's the way it always is. The same, said the old man. It called principle of favorability. When you play cards first time, you almost should have win beginner's luck. Why is that? Because there there is a force that you wanted to realize your destiny, and your appetite with the taste of success. Then the old man began to inspire the sheep. He saw the one was lame. The boy expected it wasn't important since the sheep was the most intelligent of the flock and produced whole wool. Where the treasure? He asked. It's it's the Egyptians near the pyramids. The boy was startling the old woman. He says the same thing, but she hadn't charged him anything. And in order to find the treasure, you will have to follow the admins. God had prepared a path for everyone to follow. You just have to read the ominous that he left for you. Before the boy could reply, a butterfly appeared, fluttered between him and the old man. He remembered something his grandfather had once told. The butterflies were a good omen, like crickets, and like the expectation, like lizards and 4-leaf clovers. That's right, said the old man, able to read the boy's thoughts. Just as your grandfather taught you, there are some good omens. The old man opened his cape, and the boy was struck by what he saw. The old man wore a breastplate of heavy gold covered with precious stones. The boy recalled the bracelet he had noticed on the previous day. He was really a king. He must be disgusted to avoid encounter with thieves. Take these, said the old man. Hold one white stone and black stone that could have been embedded at the center of the breastplate. They called Urim and Thummim. The black signifies yes, and the white no. When you're unable to read the omens, they will help you do so. Always ask the objective question. But if you can try to make your own destiny. The treasures at the pyramids that you already know. But I had to instance of payment of 6 sheep because I helped you to make your decision. The boy put the stones in his pouch. From then on, he would make his own decision. Don't forget anything you deal with is only one thing and nothing else. I don't forget language of omens. Above all, don't forget to follow your destiny through its conclusion.